quiet right now. I think it's like 3 a.m. Yep. Good energy right now. Good for manifesting. So, yes, the full moon in Scorpio is here. So, Scorpio, the gatekeeper to all things deadly and morbid, ruler of the underworld, the snake, the low key freaks that rep Pluto. They can come across as intense, dark, passionate, creative, emotional, and sometimes a little bit manipulative and sneaky. The full moon in Scorpio possesses amazing energy, transforming energy, and creative energy. We see the death of our old selves and the rebirth to the new versions of us. Hopefully, a happier, healthier version. Sometimes to get the brightest lights, we have to dive through our darkest shadows. So watch those emotions right now. Our recent Taurus new moon brought radical change to our lives and grounding. And now that the full moon in Scorpio is here to drown us in some deep, dark waters, we have to be aware of our emotions and our mental health and mental well being. Because if we're easily triggered, we can go down one path instead of a path that is more positive and more beneficial. Yeah, beneficial during this time. We could actually use this energy for manifesting instead of using it for destructive habits and negative cycles and patterns. So it's up to you, right? How you're going to react and what you choose to do. But just know that full moons are good for manifesting and setting goals and intentions and kind of addressing certain parts of ourselves that need addressing and things that, we need to work on. Also, I want to just state that emotions are definitely not a bad thing. And this energy is not a bad thing either. Scorpio gets a bad rep sometimes. It kind of like people people kind of are confused by Scorpio and even Scorpio energy. It's a bit complex. So when it comes to emotions and all that and delving into emotions and doing shadow work, and it's not a bad thing to do that. It's not a bad thing to look at the morbid, the dark sides of life. And I know that Hollywood and TV shows and certain media that we've consumed likes to stigmatize and kind of distorts doing shadow work. Like when we see movies with exorcisms, and we watch certain horror movies and stuff like that, they kind of make it seem bad to communicate with your ancestors and people that have passed, and they say like it's a bad thing. Whereas in the past, our ancestors, um, generations and generations ago, would pray to their dead. They would honor and venerate their dead. It was part of their culture. It was part of their religion and customs. This was before like organized religion and all that. Many tribes, many cultures, and people practice these things. So now that it's coming back around, in places like Mexico and South America, people are praying to Santa Muerte, and people are getting back to their roots. They're getting back to their heritage and culture. It's becoming more normal. And even though some people still disagree with it, it's still it's still very popular right now, and people are trying to get back to the real culture, the real roots. But anyway, This will be a great time for you to do some deep healing, shadow work, and dive into the parts of yourself that you might need to address. The part we can also dive into parts of ourselves that we may have been neglecting, we may have been hiding. You know, all those creative things we always wanted to do, we always wanted to get out there, but we were too scared or we were too busy before all this COVID stuff. So getting in touch with the following deities may help during this time, like with manifesting, healing, grounding, connecting to your ancestors. So these following deities may help you out during these times, the energy of these deities. So Santa Muerte, Kali, Papa Legba, Pambajira, Shiva, Bastet, and Anubis. So you can say hello to your shadow, your dark side, your subconscious. You can learn to love and work with your shadow instead of it working you and it coming out of you, like when you're interacting with people, and it's kind of like, it's not really, it's like in their face, but it's not, it's like you break character and all that. But if you were to integrate your shadow and heal it and make it a part of you, and realize that it's like normal to have shadows and all that, you wouldn't result to like things that are so shocking, right? So you can learn to see the beauty in your shadow and all that during this time. What I love about Scorpios is their ability to understand the darker versions of themselves and the darker sides of life. They're able to understand the occult without judgment and all of that. And obviously, I'm not including all Scorpios in this. I'm just saying some of them do. There are unevolved Scorpios, just like there's unevolved Taurus or unevolved Gemini. You know, there's unevolved signs all across the map. But Scorpios are known for just being deeper and into occult things, so that's why I wanted to say that. And since Scorpio is an underworld sign, they like topics like death, rebirth, and they like metaphysical topics. That's right up their alley. They don't really take things at surface level. They usually dive deep. You know, a Gemini might come up to me and say, "Wow, Tiff, you know, you're so deep, and I like how you really get into these things, and you know, you're creative and all that." And a Scorpio will be like, "Psh, her deep, like, bitch, please, she barely scratched the surface." You know, like Scorpio, like, it's all good in the hood. Like, I understand. Like, you guys are on a whole different level, and um, you guys, like, it's hard to understand Scorpio because I'm not a Scorpio. I don't really have a lot of Scorpio in my chart, but I've had a lot of Scorpio friends, and when they get together, they kind of really like they understand things on a whole different level. And when they interact with each other, like they really get and understand each other. So, anyways, yeah, so full moons can really trigger people's emotions. And when you add Scorpio on top of that, 'cause Scorpio can be quite emotional, things can things can get a bit deep and chaotic. You know, it might be a bit bumpy for certain people, so watch yourself out there when you're going about your life, your routine, your errands, when you're running your errands and all that. So you might think you're good for 1 minute, but that energy can creep up on you and drown you in some really dark waters. Scorpio's a water sign, you know, and it can provoke all those emotions you thought you had under control. So just be aware of that. Around this full moon time, definitely watch how you react to things. Watch what's trying to trigger you and causing you to lose face, and watch what or who exactly is trying to suck or get emotion out of you. Is it certain media? Is it a family member, friend, or colleague? Whatever it is, don't get wrapped up in those rapid tides of the Scorpio unless you really want to take it there, okay? Put the feelings aside. Look at it from a bird's eye view. Look at the bigger picture. Don't become the pawn in the game. If you're acting out, you're participating and acting in the game. Because Scorpios are great manipulators, and they'll have you thinking one way and doing things a completely different way and all that. You know, they'll twist and turn you around. So they will learn all about you and get you to reveal who you are before you ever get a slice of them. So do not give into it unless you want to take it there. All right? Get that energy under control or it's going to play you. Cuz like I said before, they know the underworld, so these kinds of signs, these kinds of this water sign in particular can hide in the deep dark shadows, and they understand and can work with the unseen, you know, our subconscious. So so take heed when tapping into this energy. You can use it, you can like be like a Scorpio and use this whole like subconscious you can program your subconscious during this time like for yourself and for your benefit. You know what I'm saying? Like you can like put yourself in the Scorpio shoes and do the shadow work and go there with the darker sides of life. Just for your own understanding and for your own like just for your own development and improvement. So yeah, like I said before, great time for manifesting, doing shadow work, using dark energy to manifest your goals and desires. And dark energy is very powerful. And like I said before, this kind of stuff is demonized. Even dark energy is demonized, you know, like in Star Wars, you know, the dark side and all that, like is made out to be bad and all this kind of stuff. But that's what I mean by Hollywood can kind of twist things around. So just be careful with the mainstream kind of dogmas that have been pushed on us, because that can kind of mess with our own manifesting. And that's one of the reasons why I created my subliminal channel, so that I can kind of like get rid of that and make sure my mind is in a better state for manifesting. And yeah, anyway, so like my thinking patterns and all that are in a better state for manifesting. Anyway, so yeah, you can utilize this energy and you might see some really significant improvements and changes in your life that are very beneficial and can help you